welcome to the Oklahoma Unions podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Do I know you?
I think we've been a time or two, yes.
Well, we appreciate you taking time to come do this on the podcast.
My pleasure.
So, okay, well, let's just jump in. Let's start with your name and your background and who you are and how you're also affiliated with us.
Well, my name is Lynn Green, like the color green. I have been a member of the American Federation of Teachers, Local 2309, since around 1995. I started teaching in the Oklahoma City Public Schools in 1994.
Okay.
And I spent 1 year not affiliated with the union. But the next year, I decided I would go ahead and be affiliated with it, get a membership. Not long after that, I can't remember how it was. It doesn't seem like it was a long time. I became the recording secretary for first the local 2309 and then for the Central Oklahoma Labor Federation.
So you've been the recording secretary 20 years?
Oh, no, longer than that. He's been recording secretary of our labor council almost as long as I've been president of the council. The AFT 2309, the kind of history. Mm-hmm. Yeah, AFT has always kind of supplied a person to fill that recording secretary job. Lynn Green has it now, but
Lee Graham.
Lee Graham did it prior to him. He was Lynn. I don't know. Lee was probably there about as long as you've been doing this now. But
yes.
So have you found your replacement that also has a first name with an L and a last name with a G?
Yeah, sorry.
Lee Graham, LG, Lynn Green, LG. Now you need to find...
That's the first time that I have someone that's pointed that out to me.
What's that?
That Lee and
Lee
I
Graham. Okay.
share the same initial.
Oh.
Yeah. So you're going to have to look for your protege.
Yeah. So that position at the Labor Council has been pretty solid.
Yeah.
With the stuff that we've done.
The AFT is the American Federation of Teachers,
Okay.
as an AFL-CIO. They're the bargaining union for the Oklahoma City Public Schools, for both the teachers and for the support personnel, the paraprofessionals, people who do the cafeteria work, their assistants, particularly for special needs children.
Yeah. We just had Ashley Boardwinkle, the president of 4574, on.
Great. Glad to hear that. So, well, I started teaching in general. It was my first time as a teacher was in 1979. Mm-hmm. I was a graduate assistant at OU, and then I did that for several years. After graduated at OU, I worked at Oklahoma City University, Southern Nazarene University, and Rose State College as an adjunct, what I call the adjunct plantation in those days. A lot of work, little pay. And then in 1994, I got a job at John Marshall High School. Sometimes referred to as Old John Marshall because it's the one that was replaced by a newer building. But I was there in 94. In 2008, I moved to Centennial High School, both of them in high poverty areas where it was a victory if the kids could make it to school because they had so many things going on in their lives. And it was a high challenge place, but rewarding. And I believe I did good for students. I stay in touch with a lot of them because it's Facebook, and then a lot of them. I live in the neighborhood where John Marshall takes his students from, and so I keep in touch with them. Mm-hmm. And I just enjoyed being a teacher, and also enjoyed being a part of the union. I was the building rep in addition to my job as a recording secretary for Central Labor Federation. It felt good that I was able to help other teachers. Worked with, tried to establish a good relationship with the principals of the building, mm-hmm. and tried to see to it that the teachers who were struggling tried to get help, and we it worked best when we worked together, when the principal and the building rep worked together. So I just felt like it was a good. Retired in 2019 when they decided, as a part of the path to greatness, was decided to close Centennial and merge the district back in together with new John Marshall High School. It's now on 122nd and over by Hefner Parkway. Okay. So it's been a long
journey. It sounds like it's been a journey,
but a good one. Yeah. Good one.
So I want to take it back real quick. You said you had a year in between being hired and mm-hmm. being in the union. Was anything in particular happen? How did you come to find the union?
Well, and I'm sorry that I can't remember her name. There was a longtime teacher there who was the AFT building rep, okay. And she talked with me about joining. At the time, I was I just started, and just getting my feet on the ground, and so I said, well, give me a year to think about this. And by the time of the year was up, I was ready to join. I signed up. Okay.
That's kind of my experience when I went to work out at Dayton Tire. When they started organizing that union, I always went to work. I always mm-hmm. did my job. I never got in trouble. I never did any of that stuff. But when they decided to organize, I was still kind of skeptical, I guess. But what really forced me to consider where I was at was. And this is kind of political, but when Ronald Reagan got elected, I just, in my head, I'm thinking, golly, I said, working folks are going to need all the help they can get. Yes. Union is the only way they're going to get there, so I got involved with our union that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. So many teachers kind of think of the way that you do, particularly when they first started. Said, well, I'm going to be a good teacher. There's no problems with me. I'm sure they will love me from the start.
Right.
And that's not what happens all too often. And you need somebody to kind of be there. I remember one in particular that I was able to help. He was a basketball coach. I think the girls' basketball coach, and he had a bit of a temper, and something went wrong. He was at another high school, and he walked to the halftime and basically smashed a window. I don't think he cut himself or anything like that, but he just he broke it. And he was facing a termination. Right. And so I went with him to his hearing, and I said, well, I think, if you could set some boundaries for him, I think he'll do fine. Mm-hmm. He was a good guy and a good coach. And I was able to help save his job because of that. I've even had, though, there is those times where I have to kind of ease a person out because they're not getting it. In an urban school like that, classroom management is just a big thing. You either manage your classes or not. If you don't manage them, you're not going to be able to teach them anything.
Right.
This guy just couldn't manage the classes. He would get angry and yell at the kids and stuff. And so I kind of finally suggested to him, maybe this type of environment is not your style.
Right.
And he left at the end of that year, and I worked with the principal on that because she had tried to work with him several times and he just couldn't make it. So sometimes you try to counsel them as to where they need to be and what they need to do. And I think it was one of the most satisfying things of being a building rep, being in the union of that I can think of.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
I didn't know that. So your building rep is kind of like a foreman on a job site.
It's kind of like a line steward in a manufacturing plant. It's the first line of grievance. The member goes talks to the building rep about whatever issues they're having, and then
I had several teachers come to me and say, I think I'm in trouble, or I think I just don't know, and what should I do? And I would counsel them on how to file a grievance and be with them. I would be with them in the room when the principal would be talking to the teacher about the disciplinary action they're going to have. And I tried to find, there'd be a way to sort of get them back on the path towards success. Okay. So it was I was pretty much sometimes I was father confessor, sometimes I was the motivator, sometimes I was you need to straighten up and fly right on this sort of
it seems like the union really shaped your experience, not only as a teacher and as being active in your union.
I think that's a very good statement, a very well put statement, because a lot of the things that I did according to the fact that we had a voice.
Right.
That's what I like best about being in a union. I taught full time at a private religious college for about 4 years, and they didn't much care for my politics. I think I heard someone say that a big donor said, "You either get that guy out of there, or I'm not going to donate anymore." And so it was after that I started teaching public school and decided, well, maybe there's something to having this union, so I don't face that.
Yep.
And I think there are a lot of teachers now with the political environment we're in Oklahoma who should take a lesson on the fact that somebody needs to be there for them if they run afoul of the powers that be. So, yeah.
So if we were teachers, what would you tell us? Like, how would you try to convince us to be in the union?
Well, I would tell them basically my own story.
Yeah. About
why I got involved and how I've helped, and that I needed sometimes. I had some times when the principal kind of got a little crossways with me, and I said the fact that I had representation, the fact that I had someone I could go to who would be on my side, that was very key to my success as a teacher and my ability to function as a teacher. So in a lot of schools, the principal that you have is going to do an awful lot to determine the environment you're going to be teaching in. Okay. And if some principals, if they had didn't have to follow any due process at all, such as what happened when I was teaching in that college, you'd be out of the building. And so I would just basically tell them, yeah, we do this for you. We will be here, support you. I would say I taught non-union, and I've taught union, and union is better.
Yeah.
So basically, we just talked about my own experience.
That's what I always tell people. I've worked in non-union jobs and union jobs were always the best.
Yes, quite true.
Have you noticed a shifting of the landscape for teachers in your generation versus these upcoming teachers in terms of, you mentioned the political climate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's more school violence, more just everything.
That's part of the situation the teachers find themselves in. Although I will say that when I started teaching at Old John Marshall, they were telling me that there were fights breaking out in the hall every passing period. And the teacher sat out in the hall just expecting another fight to happen.
Was this during integration? I'm sorry, I don't know my years off the top of my head.
It was kind of the tail end of integration. John Marshall used to be kind of the elite school, high economics.
I think we called them Silkies.
Yes, right.
Out of West. Yeah.
And when integration happened, it became more and more urban. And it's a code word, for people who find themselves in economic straits. And in America, race often determines a great deal about economics.
Right.
And it's exactly the same way at Putnam West where I graduated. It started out mainly white middle class stuff, and then eventually trickled in. Now it's more. I'd call it more of an urban school than
that's happening in the Putnam City School District.
Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And by the time they had the division, John Marshall was very few white students in it. When I started teaching at Centennial, they split the attendance zone in half of Old John Marshall. We had at least two of the most impoverished areas in Oklahoma City there, North Highlands and Westville. But it became even more Hispanic as it went on, and that's the case in Oklahoma City schools now, and particularly in the South Oklahoma City schools. And in addition to the problems of poverty, then you have the problems of language.
Right.
And I just saw that they had one of the schools is hiring teachers from, I believe it was from Cuba or someplace or Mexico, bringing him in because they have the language skills to be able to teach.
Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been I always say that when I first started teaching at John Marshall, I was one of three new teachers who that was the first year of teaching there. One quit first day.
Oh, wow.
Some student got in her face, and she said, I can't handle this. There was a third one. The other one was a young teacher. She had actually taught at Emerson, where she had a little more control. And she would come to we had the same planning period at the same time, free from students. And she would come to my room and she would be bawling her eyes out. Her name was Missy, I remember. And I told her for 3 weeks she was there crying. And I said, Missy, I think you got to get out of here. I was a union then, but I said, you're going to have a nervous breakdown.
Right.
And I was having a real tough time. the assistant principal came to me and said, Len, you're doing a better job than you think you are. And he said, if you stay with it, you'll finally get Smith's better. And it was right. By the time I got finished with it, I was ready to come back another year and on there. And yeah, that was a big turning point in my life.
Yeah. So I want to pivot a little bit to one of your hobbies. I know Union history is your gig. You're the Union history guy that I know of, at least. Mm-hmm. What topics in particular are you most interested in?
Well, of the early organizers, there is one that I wish more people in Oklahoma knew about, a man by the name of Oscar Emmeringer.
Okay.
He was called by some the Mark Twain of organizing labor. He was from Ohio, if I remember, but he came to Oklahoma. He worked a lot with sharecroppers who were in extreme poverty, went organizing them, and he came and he worked with oil field workers, I believe, and he ran for mayor of Oklahoma City and almost won because it was like a three-way race.
Oh, wow.
But he had a statement, "It's a great life if you don't weaken." And he wrote a book by that title that I think people who are involved in labor ought to read. It's called "If You Don't Weaken." And he was, a very articulate force, and he was, the guy I very much admire. And then there is A. Philip Randolph. I saw a film called 10,000 Black Men Named George. It was done by Showtime, I believe. And it talked about how he, this was like in the 1920s, or maybe even earlier, but he got involved in organizing the Pullman porters and maids, and it shows her going through several years of trying to get going and to get recognition by the Pullman company. At one point, they almost, just lost everything. They actually did lose their office and lose their, most of their financial support, particularly when the Depression hit. And some of the people that were involved with him, had violent thugs beat up on them. But finally, and this is what happened when Roosevelt became president. Franklin Roosevelt became president, and he changed the Labor Relations Board. They were voted in overwhelmingly to represent the Pullman porters. It was a victory in the end. And I like union stories like that, where they actually do win out in the end.
So Philip Randolph's always a good one to talk about. But.
Yeah. We're definitely going to have to have that 10,000 Men Named George at one of our movie nights that we're starting to have, and maybe I can bring him back and we can talk about it. We can do a critique.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Very nice. Do you have any?
No, I think I'm just enjoying the conversation with Lynn. We've been together for a long time, so I kind of know a lot about him, and I like to hear him talk about it. But
very knowledgeable.
Thank you. Just this last question here. If I could give one piece of advice to new teachers instead of profession. Well, the first piece of advice would be join the union.
Right.
The second one would be stay with it.
Yeah.
It's going to be everybody's first year seems like that's your season in hell.
Yeah.
But stay with it. Get help. Get support. Talk to your building rep. Talk to your field rep. And you can make it. if you can take it, you can make it.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
Very nice, very nice. So something we do here on the Oklahoma Unions podcast is we allow the guests to name the episode. What would you like to name this episode?
Well, I would say a teacher finds the union.
Teacher finds the union. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Lynn. We will definitely be bringing you back to have more conversations. This was just that intro.
Enjoy that. I enjoy that. Thank you.
Let me just tell the people that are listening or might watch this on one of our YouTubes or wherever we put it on social media, especially the younger folks, get in and get involved. Get yourself surrounded like I did with people like Lynn Green, and you can really build something. We built a lot of stuff here at the Labor Council, and a lot of it's because of the dedication and the support that I've had over the years with Lynn Green. So I'm a big fan. So.
Thank you.
And we're moving towards building a mentor-mentee program so that any first-year teachers or teachers that have just joined a union can match up with people like you who've been in the union and can help direct them.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, so that's what we're about. Okay, well, thank you once again, Lynn, and welcome again to the Oklahoma Unions podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
It was a great podcast this time, and it's going to be up soon. And we're going to be sending out links to be able to reach those podcasts and the social media stuff. So be prepared, because we've already got 3 in a can. 3 in the can, and one more coming. One more coming. So they're going to be up and going soon. So we appreciate you if you take the time to listen and give us some feedback on what we're doing right or what we're doing wrong, what we could do better, what we're doing good. It will help us make a better platform for this. So I appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to seeing them.